First contact fallout. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge of the EDS Horizon, Earth's premier diplomatic vessel, as the massive alien ship materialized from the darkness of space. The vessel dwarfed the horizon by at least 20 times its size, its hull composed of a dark material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Hundreds of smaller ships surrounded it in perfect formation, a show of power that wasn't lost on Maya or her crew. Status report, Maya said, maintaining her composure despite the knot forming in her stomach. Lieutenant Raj Patel's fingers danced across his console. The alien vessel is scanning us, Captain. Their energy signatures are off the charts, nothing like we've ever encountered before. Maya nodded, brushing a strand of black hair from her face. Humanity had achieved faster than light travel only 15 years ago, and in that time, they'd encountered a handful of alien species. Most had been indifferent to humans, viewing them as newcomers to the galactic stage, barely worth acknowledging. None had ever approached Earth directly. Open communications, Maya ordered. Standard greeting protocol. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a humanoid figure with iridescent silver skin and eyes that resembled polished obsidian. Multiple appendages moved with fluid precision behind the alien as it operated unseen controls. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Diplomatic Ship Horizon. We extend peaceful greetings on behalf of humanity. The alien regarded her for a moment before responding in perfect English. I am Supreme Commander Vex of the Veridan Imperium. Your species was not scheduled for contact for another 30 of your Earth years. Maya felt a chill at the clinical tone. We weren't aware we were on any schedule, Commander. All developing species are cataloged and monitored. Your recent achievements in faster-than-light travel accelerated our timetable, though we had hoped to allow more time for your civilization to mature. Vex's voice carried no emotion, only cold efficiency. We appreciate your consideration, Maya replied diplomatically. May I ask the purpose of your visit to our system? We're eager to establish peaceful relations with. Your eagerness is noted but unnecessary, Vex interrupted. The Veridan Imperium spans 17% of this galaxy. We have incorporated over 300 sentient species into our collective. Earth has been designated as Resource World 7429, suitable for mineral extraction and agricultural development. The bridge crew exchanged alarmed glances as Maya's grip tightened on the edge of her command console. With respect, Commander, Earth is our homeworld. We're not a resource to be cataloged and exploited. The alien's expression didn't change. Your perspective is understandable but irrelevant. Your species has achieved space travel but remains technologically primitive. Your military capabilities are negligible. The incorporation of Earth into the Imperium will proceed regardless of your consent. And if we refuse? Maya asked, though she already suspected the answer. Then you will be subjugated by force. The outcome is inevitable. I am transmitting the terms of your incorporation into the Imperium now. You have 7 Earth days to prepare your planetary leadership for our arrival. Those who cooperate will be permitted to maintain limited autonomy. Those who resist will be replaced. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. They're moving away, Captain, Raj reported. Setting course back to the outer system. Their fleet remains in formation. Maya took a deep breath. Send everything to Earth Defense Command. Maximum encryption. We're heading home. Maximum speed. As the horizon accelerated toward Earth, Maya retreated to her quarters. 7 days. An ultimatum from a vastly superior force. She'd studied enough human history to know how these situations typically ended. The Earth Defense Council chamber was in chaos when Maya finished delivering her report. Representatives from every major nation shouted over one another as holographic displays showed the overwhelming size of the Veridan fleet. This is unprecedented, the Chinese representative exclaimed. They're treating us like a colony to be claimed. Our combined space forces wouldn't last an hour against a fleet that size, added the Russian general, his face grim. We have fewer than 50 combat-capable vessels, most designed for solar system patrol rather than war. Admiral Helena Reyes, head of Earth Defense Command, stood silently at the chamber's edge, her expression unreadable as the debate raged. Maya noticed the Admiral's calm demeanor amid the panic. "Permission to speak, Admiral?" Maya asked, approaching her. Reyes nodded sharply. "Walk with me, Captain Chen." Once outside the chamber, Reyes led Maya to a secure elevator that required multiple biometric scans. They descended in silence for what felt like minutes. "What I'm about to show you is classified beyond top secret," Reyes said finally. "Only 17 people on Earth know of its existence. Soon, you'll be the 18th. The elevator doors opened to reveal a massive operations center unlike anything Maya had ever seen. Hundreds of personnel worked at advanced stations, monitoring displays showing not just Earth and its nearby space, but what appeared to be dozens of locations throughout the solar system and beyond. "What is this place?" Maya asked, struggling to process what she was seeing. "Welcome to Olympus Command," Reyes said, "the true heart of Earth's defense." Reyes led Maya to a central platform overlooking the operation floor. With a gesture, she activated a holographic display that showed the solar system, then zoomed out to reveal dozens of locations marked throughout nearby star systems. 30 years ago, we received a message from a civilization calling themselves the Ascended, Reyes explained. They warned us about the Veridan Imperium and several other expansionist powers. They offered us technology and guidance, not out of altruism, but to create a counterbalance to the Veridan's growing influence. Maya stared at the display in disbelief. "We've had alien contact for 30 years, before we even reached Mars. The Ascended operate differently than the Veridans. They believe in subtle intervention, guiding species with potential rather than conquering them." Reyes manipulated the display to show something hidden within Jupiter's atmosphere. "We've been building in secret, Captain. Not just ships, but an entire defense network." The image revealed massive construction facilities nestled within the gas giant's turbulent clouds, completely hidden from conventional detection. "How many ships do we have?" Maya asked. "Not enough to match the Veridan's ship for ship," Reyes admitted, "but enough to surprise them. And we have other advantages." She highlighted various points throughout the solar system: automated defense platforms, gravity manipulation technology, weapons systems beyond anything the public knows exists. Maya's mind raced, trying to reconcile this hidden reality with everything she thought she knew about Earth's technological capabilities. "Why keep this secret, even from your own captains? The Ascended warned us that revealing their involvement too soon would bring the attention of multiple galactic powers, not just the Veridans. We needed time to prepare." Reyes turned to Maya with steel in her eyes. "That time has run out. The Horizon wasn't just on a diplomatic mission, Captain. We've been monitoring Veridan activity for years. Your encounter was inevitable and planned for." "I was bait," Maya realized, a flash of anger rising and then subsiding as she grasped the necessity of the deception. "You were our eyes," Reyes corrected. "Now you'll be something more. Report to Docking Bay 17 in 3 hours. The Horizon is a fine ship, but it's not what you'll need for what comes next." 3 hours later, Maya stood in awe before a vessel that made the Horizon look like a shuttlecraft. Sleek and predatory, its dark hull gleamed under the bay lights, its lines suggesting both speed and power. "The EDS Nemesis," Reyes announced, "our newest heavy cruiser and your new command. One of 30 similar vessels we've constructed over the past decade." Maya approached the magnificent ship, noticing the lack of external weapons emplacements that characterized conventional military vessels. "It doesn't look armed. The hull contains phase-shifted weapon systems, undetectable until activated." Reyes handed Maya a command chip. "Your crew has already been selected, the best we have. You'll be battle group commander for the Jupiter defense line." "Admiral," Maya said, hesitating, "the Veridans gave us 7 days. What exactly is our plan?" Reyes smiled thinly. "We're going to let them come, Captain. Let them believe we're the primitive species they expect, and then we're going to show them just how wrong they are. Over the next week, Maya drilled with her new crew aboard the Nemesis. The ship's capabilities were beyond anything she could have imagined. Gravimetric drives that allowed for instantaneous acceleration without inertia, shield technology that could withstand energies that would vaporize conventional materials, and weapons that could target the molecular structure of enemy vessels. The crew, all seemingly ordinary servicemen and women from Earth's conventional forces, revealed themselves to be highly trained specialists who had been part of the secret program for years. They accepted Maya's authority without question, though she sensed they were evaluating her worthiness to command such an advanced vessel. On the sixth day, as Maya reviewed tactical simulations in her ready room, her communication officer called through. "Captain, the Veridan fleet has begun moving toward Earth. They'll arrive in approximately 12 hours. Earlier than they promised," Maya noted. Typical. Admiral Rice was right not to trust their timeline. "All defense groups report ready, Captain," her XO, Commander Lai, reported. "The Nemesis and Battle Group Jupiter are at full operational status." Maya studied the tactical display showing the approaching Veridan Armada, over 300 vessels in tight formation, led by the massive flagship she had encountered. Behind that display was another, showing the positions of Earth's hidden fleet, vessels concealed within the atmospheres of gas giants, hidden in the shadow of moons, or disguised as ordinary space stations and asteroids. "Signal all ships," Maya ordered. "Execute Operation Revelation. Let's show the Veridans what humanity is really capable of." As the Veridan fleet passed the orbit of Mars, Supreme Commander Vex observed the primitive defenses of Earth with disdain. A mere handful of warships, exactly as their intelligence had indicated, arranged in a desperate formation near the planet's moon. "Pathetic. The humans have marshaled their defenses, Commander," his second reported. 53 vessels of minimal threat capability. Their planetary defense systems are active but negligible. "Send the final ultimatum," Vex ordered. "They have one last chance to accept their incorporation peacefully." What happened next would forever change the Veridan understanding of humanity. The Silent Guardians. Supreme Commander Vex of the Veridan Imperium watched the pitiful human defensive line with something approaching boredom. 53 outdated warships positioned near Earth's moon. Exactly what their intelligence had predicted. This would be another routine incorporation, hardly worth his personal attention. Final approach vector locked, his navigation officer announced. Earth's defensive fleet is maintaining position. Their weapon systems are powered but pose no significant threat to our vanguard, let alone the main fleet. "Open a channel," Vex commanded. "Let us give them one final opportunity to surrender with dignity." The main view screen activated, showing a stern-faced human female in what appeared to be a military uniform. Her insignia marked her as a high-ranking officer. "This is Admiral Helena Reyes of Earth Defense Command," she stated without preamble. "You are violating sovereign Earth space. Withdraw immediately." Vex allowed a thin smile to cross his features. "Admiral, your bravery is commendable but misplaced. The Veridan Imperium has incorporated hundreds of worlds. Some resisted initially. None do now. Your species will benefit from our guidance. Those who cooperate will find positions of authority within the new order." "We reject your offer," Rise replied flatly. "Humanity does not surrender to threats or intimidation." "Then you leave us no choice," Vex said, signaling his communications officer to terminate the connection. "Deploy the Vanguard. Disable their defensive fleet but maintain minimal casualties. We want their infrastructure and population intact." 30 Veridan warships broke from the main formation, accelerating toward the human defense line. Vex settled back to observe what would surely be a brief, one-sided engagement. The first indication that something was wrong came when his sensor officer suddenly straightened in alarm. "Commander, we're detecting energy signatures, hundreds of them, appearing throughout the system." Vex leaned forward. "Explain." Unknown vessels decloaking in the shadow of the gas giant Jupiter, more emerging from Saturn's rings, additional signatures from behind Earth's moon, and the officer faltered. "Sir, our sensors indicate they possess energy profiles far exceeding our intelligence assessment of human technology." Before Vex could process this information, his tactical display transformed. What had been a pathetic defensive line of 50 ships was now augmented by over 200 vessels, appearing seemingly from nowhere. Their sleek dark hulls unlike the bulky, utilitarian craft that humans were known to build. "Impossible," Vex whispered. "Their technological development is at least a century behind this capability." "Sir, we're being hailed again," his communications officer reported. The view screen activated, but instead of Admiral Rise, it showed a different human female, seated in what was clearly the command chair of an advanced warship. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Ship Nemesis," she announced. "As you can see, Commander Vex, we are not as primitive as your intelligence suggested. This is your only warning. Leave Earth space immediately, or we will defend ourselves with all necessary force." Vex's obsidian eyes narrowed. "An impressive deception, Captain, but ultimately futile. Even with your hidden fleet, you cannot match the Veridan Imperium's military might. We have conquered worlds far more advanced than yours." Maya's expression remained impassive. "Perhaps. But there's something you should know about humans, Commander. We don't fight like other species." As if on cue, the massive gas giant Jupiter, positioned behind the human fleet from the Veridan perspective, began to emit an intense gravitational disturbance. Vex watched in disbelief as space itself seemed to warp around the planet. "What are they doing?" his science officer exclaimed. "The gravitational waves are increasing exponentially." The answer came in the form of a massive shockwave that rippled through space, bypassing the human vessels entirely but striking the Veridan vanguard with devastating effect. 30 warships tumbled out of formation, their systems disrupted by the precisely calibrated gravitational pulse. "Target their propulsion systems," Maya ordered, her voice carrying clearly over the still-open channel. "Disable, don't destroy." The human fleet moved with unexpected precision, their vessels accelerating at rates that should have crushed their organic pilots. Beams of coherent energy lanced out, striking the disoriented Veridan ships with surgical accuracy, severing engine nacelles and weapons arrays without causing catastrophic damage. Vex slammed his fist onto his command console. "All ships, advance. Deploy all weapon systems. Crush them." The remaining Veridan fleet surged forward, but they had lost the advantage of surprise and formation. The human vessels scattered in what appeared to be chaotic patterns, but Vex, a veteran of hundreds of engagements, recognized the sophisticated tactics at play. They were drawing his forces into separate engagements, preventing the Veridans from bringing their superior numbers to bear effectively. "Sir," his tactical officer reported grimly, "we're detecting automated defense platforms activating throughout the system. They appear to have been disguised as natural satellites and debris." Dozens of innocuous-looking asteroids and space debris suddenly powered up, revealing themselves as heavily armed defensive installations. They unleashed barrages of energy weapons and projectiles, creating a crossfire that caught several Veridan battle groups in devastating fields of fire. On the Nemesis, Maya watched the battle unfold with intense concentration. The plan was working. The Veridan fleet was fragmenting, their disciplined formation dissolving into isolated groups trying to respond to threats from multiple directions. "Battle Group Ares, execute maneuver Thermopylae," she ordered. "Battle Group Athena, prepare for Phase 2. 30 human vessels converged on the right flank of the Veridan main force, their weapons firing in perfect synchronization to create overlapping fields of destruction. Meanwhile, another 40 ships swept behind the Veridan formation, cutting off their retreat path. "They're adapting," Commander Lai warned. "The Veridan flagship is coordinating a counteroffensive." Maya nodded. "As expected. Time for our trump card." She opened a channel to Admiral Reyes. "Admiral, the enemy is committed. requesting authorization for Prometheus Protocol. Reyes's response was immediate. Authorization granted, Captain. Show them what humanity is truly capable of. Maya turned to her weapons officer. Activate the singularity projector. Target the space between the Veridan formations, not the vessels themselves. Deep within the Nemesis, a system unlike any other on the ship powered up. Drawing energy from what the Ascended had called subspace, the singularity projector was capable of briefly warping the fabric of space-time itself. A beam of intense blue-white energy erupted from the Nemesis, striking empty space at the heart of the Veridan fleet. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality itself appeared to fold inward, creating a miniature, controlled gravitational singularity. The effect was immediate and devastating. Veridan ships closest to the phenomenon were pulled from their courses, crashing into one another as their engines failed to compensate for the sudden gravitational shift. The carefully orchestrated Veridan battle groups dissolved into chaos. On his flagship, Supreme Commander Vex watched in horror as a third of his fleet was rendered combat ineffective in a single stroke. "Impossible," he whispered. "This technology is beyond even the Ascended Dominion." His second-in-command turned to him, panic evident in his normally stoic features. "Sir, we must withdraw. The humans possess capabilities far beyond our intelligence assessments. This is not a primitive species. They have protectors." The Ascended, Vex realized. They've been helping them in secret. He slammed his fist down again, this time in frustration rather than anger. The Veridan Imperium had encountered Ascended protected worlds before, and those engagements had never ended well. "Signal the fleet," he ordered finally. "Disengage and withdraw to the outer system. We will reassess." As the Veridan ships began their retreat, Maya allowed herself a small smile of satisfaction. "They're breaking off, Admiral," she reported to Reyes. "The Veridan fleet is withdrawing." "Excellent work, Captain," Reyes replied. "Maintain defensive positions but do not pursue. We've made our point." 3 days later, Maya stood in the Earth Defense Council chamber, now considerably calmer than during her previous visit. Admiral Reyes addressed the assembled representatives. "The Veridan fleet has left our solar system," she announced. "Our long-range sensors indicate they're returning to their territory at maximum speed. However, this won't be the last we see of them. The galaxy now knows that humanity is not the primitive species they believed us to be." "And what of these?" "Ascended," the American representative asked. "Are we merely trading one alien overlord for another?" "The Ascended are not overlords," Reyes clarified. "They are allies who recognize our potential when others saw only a resource to be exploited. They've helped us develop technology centuries ahead of our natural progression, but they've never demanded obedience or tribute. They seek balance in the galaxy, not dominion." Maya stepped forward. "What we've shown today is that humanity doesn't need to be conquered or protected. We can stand as equals among the stars. The Veridans assumed our technological development would follow the same path as other species they've encountered. They never considered that we might take a different approach." "And now?" the Chinese representative inquired. "What happens next?" Admiral Reyes activated a holographic display showing the galaxy, with Earth highlighted at its edge. "Now, we take our place in the greater community of worlds. The Ascended have arranged for diplomatic recognition of Earth by the Galactic Concord. We'll no longer be seen as a primitive backwater, but as a rising power worthy of respect." "And if the Veridans return?" someone asked. Maya answered this time. "Then we'll be ready. The Nemesis battle groups are just the beginning. Now that our true capabilities are revealed, we can openly expand our defense fleet. The Veridans excel at conquering the weak. They have far less experience facing equals." As the meeting concluded, Maya found herself standing before the massive viewport overlooking Earth. The blue-green planet rotated serenely below, its inhabitants largely unaware of how close they had come to subjugation, and how dramatically their place in the galaxy had changed in a single day. Admiral Reyes joined her, hands clasped behind her back. The Ascended predicted this moment, you know. They said humans have a unique capacity for innovation under pressure and a stubborn refusal to be dominated. Maya smiled. Humanity, adapting and surprising as always. Indeed, Rise agreed. The galaxy thought they knew what humans were capable of. They thought our arrival on the galactic stage would be predictable, manageable. She gazed out at the stars. How wrong they were. In the vast darkness of space, Captain Maya Chen knew that a new chapter in human history had begun, one where humanity would no longer be underestimated by those who roamed the stars. The silent guardians had revealed themselves, and the galaxy would never be the same.